Stop teaching coding. It's not about money. The true currency for us are those numbers. We have done about 240,000 students and we have trained about 10,000 teachers so far. So that is our real currency. And
why coding at all at a young age?
we are not trying to make IT engineers out of them, a calculator and numeracy skills. What if the day the calculator was invented, somebody said, let's stop teaching numeracy skills to everybody? How would that world be? It is hard to imagine. I don't want to take away any legacy. Our objective is not to be there forever. Kind of emphasize on what it means to me. It means serving the nation. Hello everyone, welcome to Sit with Suraj. This show is all about social entrepreneurs, people who are doing tremendous work in the social impact space. Right? In the subsequent episodes, there will be a lot of social entrepreneurs coming onto the show and sharing their stories. To begin with, we will be talk to them about their stories, about their impact journey, and things like that. Again, to tell my story, I have invited today our co-founder and partner at Next Skills 360, Sowjanya.
Hello everyone, I'm Sowjanya. Suraj, let us start with introducing yourself to the viewers, your background, what inspired you to start Next Skills 360.
All right. So I'll keep it brief, the background. I have about 14 years in IT. I spent a lot of time in Infosys, Satyam, Wipro, and spent about 5 years in the US, again, working for companies like GlaxoSmithKline, Coca-Cola. These were our marquee customers at that point in time. Later on, in the last 11 years, what I've basically been doing is trying to teach skills, different types of skills, especially 21st century skills, to students in the underserved sector. That's been my short and brief background.
Very fascinating. So what specific programs or services does Next Skills 360 offer to the underserved students?
So we started with teaching life skills. By life skills, I mean, how do you make a child safe from substance abuse, child abuse, peer pressure, bullying, things like that. And while teaching, you and I, when we were teaching in schools, we realized that a lot of these schools don't have computers. So that's when we said, how are these students supposed to learn 21st century skills such as computational thinking skills, like coding skills, and things like that. And that's when we said, can we do a skilling program that involves just paper? We said, can we create a solution that can teach coding skills using paper? We could not do that, but the next best thing that we could do was to create a cardboard-based coding kit, using which we are now teaching a lot of these students coding skills, logical thinking, problem solving, and things like that. We teach coding with computers as well. And more recently, we have started teaching AI skills as well.
Interesting. Everything I have heard so far is about education, skilling. Why did you even choose that?
Well, it was always about, do you teach them to fish or do you give them fish, right? I mean, to be able to give them fish is like very near term, very short term kind of a help that they would be getting. We are doing something in that space as well. But again, that is for another day, that discussion. But we chose education, which is like teaching them how to actually fish, is primarily because it's a more long-term, it's a more deep kind of an impact that we could do. Because teaching a student, bringing them on par with others, kind of brings them out of their current financial situation, which is not just good for them, but for their families as well.
Interesting perspective because, as you said, teaching them to fish is a very long-term solution that stays with them forever, a skill that stays with them forever. I agree with you on that. So this flows very nicely into our next question. Why coding at all at a young age?
Well, again, we are not trying to make IT engineers out of them. We want them to learn logical thinking, problem solving, creative thinking, collaborative skills that can help them not to become IT engineers, but even if they become a lawyer, a plumber, I mean, anything, any skill, any profession that they would want to get into eventually, these underserved students can use these skills and probably do well in their journey. So,
You mentioned it very rightly because these are the skills that are required for any job, any profession, or any career that they would want to choose for themselves for future. These are the critical 21st century skills I think every student must learn. So now let's take it to the next level. Why even teach coding in the era of AI?
yes, that's a very interesting question. Again, I will try to tell this or try to put my thoughts by comparing it with a calculator and numeracy skills. Again, what if the day the calculator was invented, somebody said, no, let's stop teaching numeracy skills to everybody, right? I mean, how would that world be? It is hard to imagine. But again, to deep dive slightly more, there is a survey that was conducted which says in the UK, 54% of the workforce have numeracy skills as that of primary students. I mean, why is that happening? One aspect to it is that about half of the 16 to 18-year-old students, only half of them actually undergo or take or practice numeracy skills. So to get over that, as recent as last year, Rishi Sunak, he kind of made it mandatory for any student till the age of about 18 to take up or to study numeracy skills. I mean, numeracy skills have been made mandatory till about 18. So, given all this, and now compare that to a coding versus an AI, we know all the good things that AI is able to achieve. But at the same time, how would it be if a child grows without learning a lot of these logical thinking, problem solving, creative thinking kind of skills? I mean, that is very hard for me to imagine. That is one way to look at it. And the other way to look at it is if you were to say, stop teaching coding to these underserved students, because that is where we are talking whether coding is important or not. So let's stop it for everybody, every student there is out there, be it he or she going to a private school or any other school, let's stop it uniformly for everybody. Or else, again, we are in that danger of not teaching something that is probably going to be very important to a certain section and continuing teaching it to a certain section and then again trying to create that imbalance. This, I think, was a pretty long answer, but I hope I was able to convey the message.
You indeed did. Great analogies that you mentioned about numeracy skills and math skills and all make sense. Let me ask you a tougher question. Why does Next Skills 360 even exist? Is it necessary?
Yes. Again, we thought we would ask ourselves this question primarily because it is important to know why we are doing what we are doing, right? It is very, very important that social enterprises like Next Skills 360 exist, not just exist, but become sustainable, primarily because there is a problem to solve. Again, our objective is not to be there forever. When the problem gets solved, we would want to move to a next problem, if at all there's something else that exists. But till the time we are focusing on this problem, especially the areas where not too many organizations are able to reach, right? We have probably cracked that piece of puzzle wherein we are able to reach out to remote areas and then are able to teach some very important skills without using any costly equipment. All our solutions are ultra inexpensive. It's easy for people to use and understand. And that's where we think we will be able to make our maximum impact. So, net, it is very, very important that social enterprises like ours survive and sustain. And then, with a finite time in mind, we are able to solve the problem and move on.
Very rightly said, Suraj. One opportunity that you see for anybody wanting to enter the EdTech space?
Right. So again, there are a lot of solutions, lot of products in the edtech space. You name one aspect in education, and there are multiple players. That's how blessed we are in India, and mostly around the world as well. But the problem is, are people ready to pay for it? How many of them are really are? Especially in India, it's a value-based kind of a market where people say, how can I get it for free? Can I get it at a deeply discounted rate, right? In that kind of a model, how are you going to survive and sustain yourself? So, for those who are coming in into the edtech space, I personally feel that instead of innovating on the product and the solution, I would say go innovate on the business model. Meaning, if there are ways in which you are able to take this to 170 million students and to their parents and the schools in which they study, and they're ready to pay for it, that is where the real opportunity lies. Innovate on the business models. Of course, there will be innovation on the products as well, but more so on the business model. And again, this is true for social enterprises. This is true for commercial enterprises as well in this space.
Makes absolute sense what you said. Is there one wish that you have for your organization?
Oh, I have many, but again, to top the list is all about collaboration, right? We have barely met anybody who said our products don't work, right? Our solutions aren't suited to solve the problem that we are trying to solve. But again, there are different constraints in which everybody else operates. But if all of us find out a way in which there is greater collaboration in terms of CSRs, foundations, we as solution providers, all of us coming together and are able to reach that many more students.
Correct.
Not just in India. We are now opening up for the world as well with our first export to Nigeria scheduled very soon. So there are multiple collaboration opportunities for all of us in this space, in the space of education, in the space of CSR, foundations, social impact, to come together and take these to the greater audience. So that's my primary wish.
I mean, great. That is great. I really look forward to collaborating with more and more teams to take these solutions to those students.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What has been the most rewarding experience for you so far in this journey?
Right. So the social entrepreneurs watching this, the CSR teams that are watching this, the individuals who have their hearts at the right place watching this, all of them would agree that it's not about money in the social entrepreneurial journey, right? So we keep a track of how many students we have positively impacted thus far, and we have a rough idea of how many we want to do in the future as well. So the true currency for us are those numbers. So we have done about 240,000 students, teaching them life skills, coding skills, AI thus far. And we have trained about 10,000 teachers so far. So that is our real currency, and that is what we are really proud of tracking. When I say we, it is just not me, you, it is the entire team at Next Skills 360 that we are uber proud of.
I certainly agree with you. Having been a part of this journey to impact 240,000 students and 10,000 plus teachers is not a small number.
Yeah.
This is a very gratifying experience that we all have
Yeah.
working with this bunch of audience.
Absolutely.
Great. Are there any interesting solutions or initiatives that your organization is currently working on which you are very excited about?
Right. So I'll take a few seconds to explain this. Coding is not just teaching there without computers. We've started with a coding kit that we patented in India, that using which we teach coding skills. When we teach, we do pre and post intervention assessments. We give them lesson plans for the teachers. We give them question bank. It's a beautiful solution that we have developed. Again, with all these services around this coding without computers, we have created coding with computers too. So with computers, Students can learn in their labs, they can learn at their homes. They can also continue taking quizzes, teachers can have access to lesson plans, question bank, all the good services are available for with computers as well. Of course, we have started to teach AI, as I briefly mentioned. Life skills, again, in the form of stories, we teach students how to be safe from certain things. Then finally, and most recently, that we are all super, super excited is about a coding app. I mean, it took about 2 years in the making. Initially, it was totally different than what it is right now. But now it is a coding app that has come out very beautifully that can teach students who are having visual disabilities. We are trying to teach them foundational coding skills. Again, the point being, we don't want to make IT engineers out of everyone. But again, it is an opportunity for these students who otherwise did not have access to learn this set of skills. We want them to learn logical thinking, problem solving, creative thinking. And in the process, if we ignite a certain passion in them to take up coding as a hobby first and then as a profession later on in their lives, we're trying to create a pathway as well. So again, long answer to a very short question. The summary is we have done certain solutions in the past that we are very proud of. And the icing on the cake is ProGame Tactile that teaches foundational coding skills to the visually challenged.
Yeah, very interesting. I was a part of the usability testing workshop where we taught coding skills to the students from our school for the visually challenged in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this, Suraj?
Well, I don't want to take away any legacy of my grandfather, my cousins, my uncles who have served the forces, who have served in the forces. But again, just to build that context, probably it is genetic, probably it is my calling that I always wanted to serve in the forces to the extent that I actually applied, but for some very trivial reasons I couldn't take the exams, but that's for another day. The point being, the first opportunity that I got to start something on my own, I thought social entrepreneurial journey would be the perfect fit for me, primarily because it is my way of serving the nation. So each time we think of a product, or think of a solution for a problem that we have seen very prevalent, we think we are trying to bridge that gap between where the situation is right now to where it can be. So it is not to take away anything or to take a little bit of credit from what my grandfather or my uncles or cousins have been doing, but to kind of emphasize on what it means to me. It means serving the nation.
I absolutely appreciate what you've been doing. Suraj, is there anything else that you want to share about your work or your vision for future with our viewers?
So the vision is very clear. If I have to say, inequality in any form shouldn't exist. Right now, my focus is on education. There are private school going students, there are government school going students, and there is a huge imbalance. With whatever little impact that we are trying to do, we want to take away, we want to abolish that inequality, that imbalance, right? So, and what education, the beauty about education is that if you educate one person, one student, one underserved person, along the way, once they get educated, they can champion the cause of fighting inequality by teaching another person, right? It is like a chain reaction, it is like a ripple effect. So I don't know how long would it take, but again, with so many other good folks in the area, again, with whatever little effort that we are putting in, my grand vision is to see that no child gets left behind either because of their financial situation, their social economic background, their disabilities, nothing. Nothing at all should stop them from getting on par with everybody else. So that's my vision.
That's brilliant. I long back happened to watch a video. The crux of it is that, when you educate a girl child, she goes ahead and educates her entire family, which I think is true of any child. Very brilliantly put, that education is the key to bring in equality. So with that, we come to the conclusion of Sit with Suraj, or should I say Sit with Sowjanya today.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
thank you so much, Suraj, for sharing your fantastic background and inspiring journey with all our viewers. We wish you and your team, and of course I'm included in that, the best.
Thank you so much for coming here again, and thanks for helping me out. I'm hoping I'll be able to pose a similar kind of questions to social entrepreneurs that will be coming onto our show, and then I'm hoping that they will also be able to share the story on similar lines. Thank you so much.